Should the Nets be giving Kyrie Irving right now the max? He wants the supermax, and that's how much is the supermax for him? It's
$248 million.
200. It's just a mere $248 million. Are we good with that? If you're Josiah and Sean Marks, are you putting that on the table?
I think there actually needs to be some stipulations in that contract to a degree. But I will say at the end of the day,
what are stipulations?
Well, I mean, we talked about this on my show about
games
the amount
played?
Of games played, things of that sort.
If you're Kyrie, are you signing that?
I don't know how you factor into injuries on something like that.
That's what I mean.
Injuries are part of the game, so I would probably deny that. But at the end of the day, are you willing to lose Kevin Durant? Is the question that the Nets have to ask themselves. Are you willing to rebuild and be left with Ben Simmons in the cupboard to start your franchise over again and picks? Because these two are as thick as thieves, man. I've been saying it for a while. They look at each other not only as brothers, but as equals. It's not a LeBron James, Kyrie thing where he's referring to him as a kid. It's not a KD, Stephen Curry thing where whose team is it really, even though KD got multiple finals MVPs. That's Steph's team. That's LeBron's team. At the end of the day, it's their team. So if you're willing to lose Kevin Durant, then go ahead.
So that answers the question I was going to ask you next, but I feel like I still want to dive more deeply into it. Whatever it is that happened this past year, and it was an unimaginable disaster in every way that something could be, it has not diminished that bond. KD is still as 100% supportive of going forward with Kyrie as equals as he has ever been.
It's not only the bond, in my opinion, Greeny. It's also the fact that it's these two against the world. I said that when they formed their relationship the first time. I'm like, it's going to be Kyrie and KD against everybody. So all the stuff that occurred this year, did you hear KD publicly speak on any of it? No.
Only positively, only supportively.
He had Kyrie's back.
Yeah, he did.
So there's nothing that would lead me to the conclusion, after seeing a repeated history of him having his back, that he wouldn't have his back now when he needed him the most.
So, Tim Legler, let me bring you in. I mean, how does that impact everything? Because, we were talking here. Bobby came up with the idea, give him a 4-year contract. The first 2 are guaranteed. The next 2 are not, based upon the number of games that he plays. Is Kyrie going to be willing to do that? Who knows? The Durant factor in all of this, Timmy Legs, how does that factor into all of this?
Well, yeah, and listen, Jay's 100% right. That should factor into a great deal. And obviously, Kyrie Irving's talent dictates that he's worth that kind of money when he's at his best. I just think the stipulations have to be there. And for me, if he were to opt out and I were another team looking at Kyrie Irving, talking about giving a guy a supermax, I'd have a problem sleeping at night if I was a front office executive making that kind of decision and guaranteeing that kind of money to somebody that has been unavailable for more games than he has been available since he got to Brooklyn. In fact, he has played basically the same number of playoff games, period, since he left Cleveland as he did in their one championship run. So there are a lot of things there that would make you be wary of giving him that kind of money. But I think the best point you make about why they would is because of what Jay just said. They're tied to this. They're married to this. Obviously, Harden left, so it doesn't look like it did in the beginning. But these two guys still believe they've got enough talent, depending on what this roster construction around them is going to look like, to make a serious run. And that's what you're going to be left with. Kevin Durant looking around saying, is this really what I want to be a part of if James Harden and Kyrie Irving are both not there anymore?
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.